Hey guys, it's Len. Welcome to another live workout. We're going to be doing shoulders and arms today. I've written it down. I want to walk you through what we're going to do today in case you want to follow along and do this yourself here. So we're going to hit shoulders first, doing a lateral raise. I'm going to superset a rear delt raise and a front raise. We're going to do a shoulder press machine and a shrug, and then we're done shoulders. We're going to move on to triceps for a V-bar press down and an overhead dumbbell extension, and then finishing off with biceps. I'm feeling the preacher curl today. I think that's the one I'm going to go with. Now we are doing a lion style of lifting. That means one set super heavy and one set light, and then we move on to the next exercise. That's not including any kind of warm-ups, which I will be doing for the first exercise of each muscle group. So shoulders, lateral raise. I have my heavy set's going to be 35 pounds, but let's warm up, get our body used to lifting. I'm just going to grab the 15s and going to just hit a set here, pushing the weights out to the side, contracting my shoulders, just trying to warm that up. Maybe 10 to 15 reps. Definitely not wanting to go to failure here. Just trying to increase blood flow, get my muscles used to lifting. But on my next sets, my heavy set is going to be next. We're going to go 35 pounds. I'm going to take that right to failure. And then my light set, I think I'm doing 12 pounds. I'm going to take that right to failure. And then we move on. It's a great way to lift. Let me grab that weight here. Like I said, 35 pounds for lateral raise. That is a lot of weight. I'm hoping somewhere maybe 8 to 10 reps. I'm really going to push it. I want to make sure I'm well rested for this. It's one set, kind of targeting that myofibrillar growth, forcing adaptation and a little bit of strength. And then we'll get to our sarcoplasmic growth next. So let's get into the set. Grabbing these 35s. So you can see I took that right to failure. I probably only got really 7, 8 good ones, and then 3 or 4, 3/4 rep, half rep, quarter rep, taking that muscle, that deltoid muscle right to failure. And I'm done that set. And I'm done my heavy lifting for lateral raises. Moving on to set 2. I'm going to exchange these out, these 35s for some 12s. Now when we're picking our light set weight, I like to go, or the majority of my muscle groups, I like to go either half the weight that I'm using or just less than half. We're trying to go for 20 to 30 reps here. So it's a set of endurance. It's a set of mental toughness. We're trying to keep constant tension the entire time on this deltoid muscle. And we're just going to take it to failure. Don't be afraid to take your rest time on these kind of exercises. I do want to maximize how much I'm lifting and making sure that I am going to failure for as far as possible. All right, let's get into it. So I want to stop just short of the bottom, and that way I keep tension the entire time. I'm just trying to bring my deltoids up into the air, keeping tension. I'm going to push out to the walls and not the ceiling. I'm trying to isolate deltoid. I do not want to get my traps involved. We're going to hit those later. Starting to burn, getting that lactic acid building up, getting that hydrogen building up. I'm going to push through. My deltoids are on fire. But it's funny, the second you release that weight, that pain just goes away immediately. So when you're lifting, just remember that. That way you can kind of tell yourself, hey, the second I stop, this pain will go away. So let's push it for now. I'm trying to maximize for now. It's a real mental game. I'm going to return the weights. And I'm done. Lateral raise. That took me like 3 minutes, 4 minutes. This system is designed to be kind of in the gym, out of the gym. I'm hoping I got 7 exercises here over 3 muscle groups. I'm hoping that I can get this all done in maybe 40, 45 minutes. I don't like to spend a whole lot of time lifting in the gym. I'm here for a reason, here for a purpose. I'm just going to hammer it out. We're going to move on to rear delts and a front raise. I'm feeling a dumbbell rear delt today. So let's grab some 20s. I'm going to set up on the bench. Rear delts are a real tough muscle to isolate. And that's because your traps in the back can do a lot of the work for you anytime you're lifting. You have to be very careful to make sure you shut those off, and that way you can keep it in that rear delt muscle. So when you're doing this kind of exercise, I really want you to focus on rounding forward with your back. And when you lift the weights up, I don't want to contract my back like this. What I want to do is keep my back round and just bring my arms out to the side like that. Now, of course, on the 20-pound set, if you get a little bit of help from the traps, it's not the end of the world. But on our light set, I really, really just want to focus on isolating that as much as possible. I'm going to give myself another 10 seconds here. My shoulders are on fire already from that lateral raise. If you're working and doing these sets to failure, I just don't see a point in doing 3, 4, 5 sets where 4 of them are just wasted time. If you're not taking the muscle to failure, like, why bother? That's also why a lot of you are in the gym for 2 hours and I'm there for 40 minutes and we look the same. Here we go. So bending over, trying to push this weight out to the side, not up, trying to reduce how much my traps are helping. That's all they can take there. I paired this one with a front delt raise. I rarely do supersets when I'm doing this lion style of lifting, but there's something about training rear delt, then front delt that I just really, really like. And so we're going to superset this with a front raise. We're going to pop over here. I'm going to use what's called a Swiss bar today. And the Swiss bar is awesome. It gives me a lot of choices to hang on to. So I can accomplish a lot of different exercises a lot of different ways. For the front raise, my goal here is to target this front part, the anterior part of my shoulder. So in doing so, I really ideally want to stay pretty tight. So I'm going to use the middle grips. And I'm going to angle my hands forward so that I raise up. And you can see at the top here, I'm contracting that front part of my deltoid. So that's my goal here, is to hit that part right here. Again, this is my heavy. So I'm going to go for somewhere close to 10 reps. I'm going to push this out and towards the wall, not up and towards the ceiling. And that way I'm just trying to take my traps out of it a little bit more and keep it in that deltoid. Here we go. Those last couple reps, I'm not trying to change my form. I'm not trying to sway with my back too much. So in doing so, I might not be able to make it all the way up, but it doesn't mean that my shoulder's done yet. So I had a couple there where I made it, halfway up. Then my last one, I think I only made it maybe a quarter of the way up, but the weight's still moving and that muscle is still doing the job. So I'm really taking that right to failure. Take a quick rest. We're going to go back to the rear delt, but now it's going to be the light set. So I'm going to swap out the weights for a light weight. Rear delts are a very small muscle. So again, I use 20s. I like to go typically half. So I would grab the 10s, but instead I'm thinking the 8s today. Just because rear delts are a tough muscle, I really just want to focus on isolation as much as possible. And see if I can get that rear part of my delt, this muscle right here, to just really pop and do the work for me. All right, here we go. Hoping for somewhere between 20 and 30 reps. It's quite a long set. It's very exhausting. Trying to maintain tension at the bottom, which means not coming down all the way. Squeezing that rear delt. Trying not to squeeze my traps. Pushing the weights out to the sides, not up to the roof. Already feeling that burn. I'm just gonna try and fight off my brain right now, which wants me to stop. I'm gonna tell it no. I'm gonna push right to failure. It felt really, really good. That rear delt muscle right there. See it popping a bit. That just did the work, so it's just full of blood. And rear delts are really underrated for shoulder size. I think they're really important. We don't hit them enough in the gym. They also really help just fill out your shirts when you're wearing them. That rear delt, underrated. I think everyone should do more of them. We're gonna pop over and do our light set. Same thing on the Swiss bar for the front raise, targeting our anterior deltoid. I'm just gonna adjust the weights here. First set was 45 pounds. I'm gonna bring it right down to the bar for my second set. The bar's 25 pounds. So not quite half, which isn't ideal, but that's all right. I call it a superset, but the truth is it's probably more of an alternating set, which means you are taking a second in between as you walk over. So if I'm doing a chest back day and, maybe I want to alternate sets, it'd be, hit a bench press, then take 45 seconds a minute, hit some rows, take 45 seconds a minute, hit the bench press, as opposed to a true superset, which would be bench press, rack that weight, go straight over to the rows, rack that weight straight over to the bench press. This gives a little bit more time to recover in between. It's kind of what I prefer when I do supersetting, is really alternate setting. Okay, I'm going to take this set to failure. I don't want to come down all the way. You can see I'm keeping tension on the front of my deltoid, my anterior deltoid. Just pushing that straight out in front of me, not to the ceiling. I'm just rotating around that shoulder joint. I'm already feeling it a lot, probably because it's a little more than half weight. Now I'm just gonna fight it off. And that's right to failure. And now I'm 3 exercises in. I think it's only been like, what, 10 minutes? I'm feeling pumped up. I'm gonna take a quick rest. I'm gonna grab some water, and then we're gonna move on to a shoulder press. I have days where I start with my pressing movements, and I have days where I start with my isolation movements. On my pressing movement first days, I'm really going for a little bit more strength first. In my isolation movements first day, focus a little bit more on size. But doing presses later in your workout, I mean, people hate on it because it's not optimal. Well, optimal for what? Because in real life, maybe my shoulders are super tired and I need to do a pressing movement. And if I haven't practiced, if I've only done pressing movements when I'm fresh, I'm hardly prepared for the real world when I need to do it when I'm exhausted. So unless you're strictly going for hypertrophy, I don't see why you wouldn't mix up the order a little bit so that you're prepared for all situations. Not everything in lifting is about size. You shouldn't, I mean, unless you're a professional bodybuilder, you shouldn't be going to the gym just to get bigger. You should also be going to the gym to become more capable, right? So if you're tired and then go do some compound movement or something difficult, you're not going to be able to go as heavy. That's fine. But practice that and you'll be prepared for the real world.